Hey guys, it's Todd from Like Minded Lunatics, bringing you, it's another drink, play, swear. Hey, it's all we do around here. I mean, besides obsessing over the possibility of the multiverse, it's all we care to do around here. Welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Drink, Play, Swear, and welcome back to Like Minded Lunatics. You know that Like Minded Lunatics is not just me here at Drink, Play, Swear. No, it's not. It's also my buddy Mark Gifford doing the Friday night videos. Bang! It's the best stuff on the channel as far as I'm concerned. Entertaining, insightful, and sometimes educational? Question mark? Lots of good guests on there, and sometimes he's just rolling alone. It's great content. Please check it out if you're not doing so already. And bang, if you haven't done so already, please bang, hit that subscribe button so we can see how big this family of like-minded weirdos, degenerates, runaways, and ne'er-do-wells is getting. It gets bigger every day, and we're thrilled about that. Okay, so what is it we do here at Drink, Play, Swear? Well, it's exactly what it sounds like. We play a game, usually a classic one, pair it with a beverage, and I tell you a story. We do that, don't we? We do that around here. What are we playing today? It's Superman on the NES. I have never played this game, but I am going to tell you right now, just pulling it up, I feel like it's a little suspect, okay? I'm just saying, I'm not calling it a shitty game already. I've never played it before. But it came out in 88. These graphics look a little like underperforming for 88. That's near the end of the NES run. And the producers of this game are called Kemco. I've never heard of Kemco. Okay, well, we'll see. Let's keep an open mind. What am I drinking here today? Well, no surprise. See, Kemco? I don't know about that. First Star Software? I don't know you people. Okay, I'm playing with a Jim Beam and Coke here today. Get yourself something. Let's kick back and have a good time. Okay. You are Clark Kent. Why is the Statue of Liberty talking to us? Okay. Sorry, I'll try to turn it around and have a good attitude about this game. All right. Let's get into the game and figure out what's going on. Oh no. It's one of these games. It's like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, where you're walking around like talking to people. Is this Lois? Here's Lois. Oh no. Oh no, I can already tell I hate this game. It's like you're trying to get clues. This is like Simon's Quest. Like you're talking to people trying to get clues about what you're supposed to do, but it's all like intentionally cryptic. I'm not gonna like this. Yeah, this is Jimmy Olsen. Okay. Everybody's wearing green. Great way to save money, Kemco. Or time, not money, I guess. Anyway, let's pause and get into the story today. What are we talking about? Well, I want to talk about the multiverse today, but maybe not in a way that you would expect. What is the multiverse? Well, if you're into comic book culture or you're into superhero movies or, any movie that's come out in the last 10 years, you're probably aware of this idea of the multiverse. The idea of the multiverse is that, you have your life on your Earth, but that there are multiple versions of your life going on in multiple universes, right? And so in some universes, you take a certain job, and in some you don't. In some you marry a certain person, and in some you don't. In some you become immensely successful, and in some you don't. Fun to think about as a kid, And my head was always in the clouds as a little kid, and so it was easy for me to try to imagine the multiverse being real. So let's give a couple of quick examples in pop culture of the multiverse. I'm sure you're familiar with some of these. Here's Spidey. Right? The most recent Spider-Man movies, both the MCU one and the Sony one, dealt with the multiverse and multiple Spider-Men, and in the case of the comics, Spider-Women coming into contact with each other, helping each other through missions. That's a good time. But Marvel isn't the only ones to dabble in the multiverse, are they? Oh no. This is one of those games where up is jump. That's not intuitive at all, I'm sorry. Up is jump. This must have been like a computer game that they ported to the NES. That's what it feels like to me. Let's see. Oh, look. All right, at least I'm Superman now instead of Clark. I was going to say, who wants to play a game as Clark Kent? It's the Superman video game. Okay. But DC plays with the multiverse as well, and I've got a quick example for you here. This is the Red Sun. I love this graphic novel. The Red Sun is plays with a concept that the writer Mark Miller came up with, or actually borrowed from elsewhere, but wrote his own original story. Mark Miller writes about in the introduction that when he was a little kid, one of the versions of the Superman origin story that he read said that Superman, Kal-El, whatever, did not crash land into Kansas on the Kent farm, but he crash lands in the ocean between Soviet Russia and the U.S., and that both governments somehow figure out that there's a powerful weapon within this capsule, a little baby floating around in the ocean, and so they race to get it. And in that old comic, you see the U.S. got him, but it was like a Cold War kind of discussion, right? Well, Mark Miller, as an adult now reading comics, picks that up and creates the Red Sun. And the Red Sun imagines, as it says on the cover here, the great American icon reimagined as a Soviet hero. And what's cool about the story is that it goes through a pretty healthy debate. What is this? Oops, you can't ride the subway? I'm Superman. I don't need the subway. What is it? I don't like this. Anyway, the story imagines what it would be like if Kal-El had landed in Soviet Russia and had become a champion of those people, and how he might have been easily suggestible, to a different way of life and to different priorities. And it's this, debate over the merits of capitalism. It's a great story and a very adult story as far as I'm concerned. Not adult like naked people. Don't get excited. Anyway, I grew up loving the multiverse and seeing it both in DC Comics and in Marvel Comics. And as I said before, I also thought a lot about the multiverse when it came to my life. Like, could I imagine that maybe there are like 7,000 Todd Wrights, and they're all going through slightly different experiences? And then you get to thinking, if you allow yourself to believe that's possible, you begin to wonder, like, well, am I in one of the good ones? Or one of the bad ones, right? Like, am I in a favorable version of the multiverse? Or am I in a bummer version? And so there were multiple points in my life where this kept chiming in. And obviously, if I'm 5 and 6 years old, it's easy for me to have my imagination captured, and I think that maybe this is real. But even as I got older into adulthood, I have still allowed myself to wonder this. Am I in a good version of Todd Wright or a bad one? One example I'll give you is in the year 2000. In the year 2000, George W. Bush won the presidential election, and it was like very controversial. Al Gore lost, right? And it was like some people, especially in liberal-leaning media, said that Gore, the election was stolen from him. You remember the whole hanging Chad thing and everything, right? Miscounting votes. So, and the Electoral College debate happened all over again. And when shortly after that, September 11th happened, and all of our lives in this country changed, I did start wondering, oh no, I think I'm in a bad version of the multiverse. You know what I mean? What is this? Got any news? I'm Superman. I'm not Clark. How do you recognize me as a newsman? I know nothing at all. I'm going to pause it right there. This is how much this game is worth to me. Nothing. Okay. So I wondered, was I in a bummer version of the multiverse where, the World Trade Center went down and you couldn't even go to the airport. You couldn't even take your loved one to the airport anymore. You had to drop them off at the curb. You couldn't have those romantic goodbyes like we used to, or like you see in the movies, right? But time went on, and my ideas of where I stood in the multiverse changed. I remember in particular when I went to college. If you've listened to the channel before and watched stuff before, you know that I had a hard time getting to college. I was a terrible fucking high school student. I really was. And it was going to be a close call for me whether I was getting into college. But when I got to college, I took it seriously and loved it. I took an English major and took as many lit courses as I could. And I remember this one day walking home from World Lit. It's Texas Lutheran, Seguin, Texas. Warm day, walking under oak trees, right? And cool breeze. and really feeling lucky about the fact that I got to sit in a classroom with other people who were interested in this stuff and talk about Dante Alighieri and talk about Italian dialects and talk about heaven and hell and talk about poetry. It was like I felt so lucky because it's my thing, right? And shortly after that, as I'm walking home still to my dorm room, an old friend of mine from high school calls. And he happens to work at a garage, and he's talking about how he's working 50 and 60 hours that week, and that his hands hurt, and that he's mad, but that he was going to come up on Friday night, and could we hang out? I said yes. When I got off the phone, I thought about the fact that somewhere in the multiverse, I probably went to work with that guy instead of bothering to, apply for college, and I probably was going to be that guy along with him, and I felt so grateful I wasn't. Now, that's not to say there's anything wrong with changing tires. If being in a garage is your passion, that's fantastic if you're a car guy. But, I've never been all that competent with cars, and so it wasn't going to be the answer for me. What's happening? I don't want to be Clark. I mean, I already look like a gray Clark. Anyway. Can I just be Superman in the Superman game? This isn't the Clark Kent game, Kemco. Okay, sorry. I'll get over myself about this game. Things swung like pendulums do years later when COVID happened. And the same day that COVID was announced as a pandemic on CNN was the same day my wife was diagnosed with breast cancer. And we had to go home and break the news to our 2 kids. And we had to keep them home from school and go into lockdown. And my kids had to start remote learning on a computer. And my wife started going through radiation, and chemotherapy, and surgeries. And it did feel an awful lot like I was in a shitty version of the multiverse. And when I would lay in bed at night trying to get to sleep from all the concern I was having, I would just imagine that I was a Todd Wright laying on a beach in Curacao, drinking a Mai Tai or a mojito with my healthy wife next to me. And it was rough. And I'm sure you've all been through that kind of stuff too, where you just wonder, what did I do wrong? or why is this happening to me? Today, I'm happy to say that my wife, her treatment was very successful. And she's doing great. And the vaccinations happened for COVID, and so we're all back at work and back in school. And things are looking a lot better these days. And I try to look at my life now and see that I got 2 healthy, happy kids. I got a healthy, happy wife. I got a good job. When I was a kid, I'd never thought I'd go to college, and now I'm a college professor. And yes, I got these jokers at Like Minded Lunatics that mean so much to me. So I'm going to say, if the multiverse is real, I mean, it's probably not, but it could be. If the multiverse is real, I think I ended up in a pretty favorable version of it. So, okay, that's all we got for today. Wrapping up. Thanks for being with us here. Just a garbage video game in Superman. But in between now and the next time I talk to you, I am Todd. Oh, see ya.